breaking news. Across the Spider-Verse, we just saw an animated sequel to Into the Spider-Verse. What do you think?
Great time in the movies, as you Total Recall. I had a great time.
Yeah, it was fun. It was.
It didn't hit me as like the first Spider-Verse movie. I was like crying in the theater.
Yeah, the first. I mean, this was really good, and it did. It moved at like a different pace. It was a slower pace, but it was kind of like, okay, I'm kind of enjoying it. Like now we know the characters, and we're gonna spend a little more time with them, and we're gonna, and it's like. They kind of like honed in that like, okay, we want to see what Miles is up to. We want to see what Spider-Gwen is up to. We want to see what Peter B. Parker's up to. Like they're kind of, and it kind of took its time a little more. So it was a different,
kind
of ride. Yeah.
You might say it's more of a hangout.
Well, yeah, and you are just kind of in Miles' like normal life for a while. It's not like people aren't getting killed and this and that. You're just kind of in his life. For his parents' his dad's party and stuff, on the rooftop and stuff.
You're doing a little battling with the Spot.
Yeah, the Spot.
Jason Schwartzman's Spot.
But then it was like you get to the end and it's to be continued.
Did not see that coming.
Oh, that's why it was more leisurely because this is 2 movies. So like once it got to that point, I was like, okay, you should have just made it 1 movie.
For real, yeah.
Because it is like they get to a point where like. To make a good cliffhanger, I feel like you gotta have things like really looking bad and like. It was kind of like you're watching a Popeye movie and then Popeye like eats the spinach and then it's like to be continued. You're like, oh man, how's Popeye gonna get out of this? Like he just ate the spinach. You know what's gonna happen next.
His muscles explode.
Right,
it's like,
and it's like to be.
How will Popeye get out of this one?
Because it was like things were looking really bad for Miles. And then it's like
they waited too long.
Yeah, well, because it's like for a while it was like Spider-Gwen. Gwen was kind of like it seemed like she had sort of moved on and didn't really she wasn't going to be his friend anymore and maybe like never talked to him ever again. And she kind of like moved on and had this other group of friends and stuff, and another boyfriend, and that was kind of like bleak. It's like, oh man. But then and so like if you had sort of left it there, you'd be like, oh man. But then it's kind of like then Gwen gets like the team to get, she kind of shows that she is on his side. So it's like, okay, great, we got that. And then also like Miles is being like held captive and things are looking really bleak. But then you see him like point his finger and a little bit of lightning starts to come out. So you're like, yeah, he's going to get out. And then to be continued on both of those beats. So it's like we see the triumphant beats, and then it's like, oh, what's going to happen next? It's like, well, obviously, she's got this gang together that's going to rescue him, and he's charging up his power, so he's going to blast right out of there.
In the next movie, the very first moment, he Miles gets killed. In minute 1, they're like, oh my god.
Or it's like he. All the good stuff happens. He's free, and then it's like the other 2 hours of the movie are an extended credit sequence. Like it just seemed a little odd.
The animation and like the feel. I love Spider-Punk.
Yeah, Spider-Punk. Yeah, the Spider-Punk was the standout for me too. I was like, yeah, I like this guy. I really did. He was the takeaway. Like there's always like in the first one there was kind of like a Spider-Man for everybody. There was and I think that was part of the movie's success is that it has this ensemble cast, and then there's a Spider-Man for everybody to relate to. And obviously like Miles is the main Spider-Man in these movies, but like in the first one, the one I related to was Peter B.
Oh yeah. I liked how Spider-Gwen was featured a lot in this one.
Yeah, you got her. I think they chose well, and then when he goes into that universe of all Spider-Man, all the Spider-Man variants, that was cool to see.
I'm looking forward to the next one. What's the time between these?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming this is like sequels by design to get like 2 bites of the apple that you're not gonna have to wait too long. But you know what? When we were watching the trailers, one of the trailers was for the Mission Impossible, and it was like, Mission Impossible, blah blah blah, part 1 of 2, and I was like, oh, like I'm like, okay, I'm just not gonna see that mission. I'm not down for that. And then like you watch Spiderverse, and then by the end it's like, wait, to be continued.
I'm not dealing with that shit. And then the movie we're watching is exactly that.
But like, I'm not sure I'm gonna go. Like, I might just wait. Yeah,
on the next one.
Yeah, for the next one, because I just kind of like I feel like I got my I don't feel like it. I'm not feeling it. Like I enjoyed this. It was all well and good, but
gonna
again, like cliffhanger, like. I kind of know, like, and again, of course, there's going to be lots of wrinkles and this and that, and a big clash with this guy. But I don't think it was worth like making two out.
They're trying to give you.
I get it, but yeah.
So yeah, we'll wait for when it's on streaming.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see when it comes, but I'm not like dying for the next one.
It was hilarious because like I did not know it was going to be a cliffhanger.
I didn't either. That was a good secret they kept. And I might not have gone to see it if I knew it was part 1 of 2. Like that's,
yeah, for real.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why it kind of like took the wind out of my sails for this thing. Like
it kind of did. Yeah, like I wish they were. I wish we were going to see a screening of Octopus. Like.
Octopussy, part 1 of 2. Spider-Punk was really good. Like
his axe was always hanging. He had like his axe.
I think because like the first one was so ultra tight and had like a million things going on, so it was like, oh, I love this, and I love that, and this and that, and this. This one was just kind of like, oh yeah, this is cool, and then oh yeah, Spider-Punk.
They were really cool. Like taking their time with it, and we found out why they were doing
yes. that. I mean, Jason Schwartzman as the Spot was good, and that was a good choice for villain, because he is like a more recent, I say recent, he probably came out like 15, 20 years ago or what, but it's like when that character was introduced in the comics, it was kind of like, oh, that's a clever idea, and it feels classic. Like he feels like a character that's been around forever. But he's new, and he feels, it seems like something Ditko might have come up with. He kind of had like a Ditko look, and then the way the power worked,
that was fun.
Very Ditko-esque. So I think it was a good choice, bringing him in there. I saw Dune knowing it was 1 of 2, and that didn't bother me too much. But for some reason, this one really, it's... Yeah, I mean, I guess, you just have your limits with different stuff. And it's like, I got all the Spider-Verse I need. Like, the first one kept me wanting more. I'm like, yeah, give me more of this. And then the second one, I was like, this is good. But no, I'm done.
You're done.
I'm done.
Well, with Dune, I was feeling that they would like. I was expecting it still to be, even though it's 2. I was just assuming they were gonna be like, well, they were gonna pull the plug and not do it.
Yeah, there will not even be a part 2. Yeah, at least with this one, I get the feeling that this is more or less. The part 2 is more part 3. Is more or less in the can. Yeah, it's also like double albums, like the era of double albums for music. It's always like, it's like when a band has like gone too far. You do the double album when your band's about to implode. It's always like not enough meat on the bone. There's always like too much padding. Like even the Beatles' White Album, which would be held up as like, oh, here's a great double album. There's a lot of stuff that can like take a hike on that album too.
Yeah, it's like Green Day had that Uno Dos Tre.
Right.
Like I'm like I didn't get around to listen to that yet, but I just assumed that there's like so much filler on that. Like, it's like you're gonna have to like. What is the best 10 tracks from that or something?
And the Beatles are doing that when, the Beatles are selling huge and stuff like, or Guns N' Roses do their double album.
Use Your Illusion.
Yeah, when they're like doing big business. And I know like Into the Spider-Verse was like a huge hit and stuff, but like the movie industry is not in such amazing shape that you can sort of take your victory lap and do your double album. Like you got to keep it tight. And again, you can have series, you can make like an Empire Strikes Back or whatever, but Empire Strikes Back, for all of the sort of cliffhanger, the like you knew there was going to be another chapter. It still was a complete state. It felt complete, and it did end on an extremely dark note. Like there was still hope, but it was very dark. Like it seemed like Han Solo was just dead. Like that. I mean, that's
Holy shit.
And Across the Spider-Verse did not end that way. Across the Spider-Verse was like, okay, in the next second he's gonna bust out and be fine, and then it's like, come back in 2 years with your $9 and
who's gonna even they're like talking about like an unmemorable like ending.
Yeah.
Where it's like when you go to see the next one, it's like what even happened in the last one?
Well, yeah, like I mean the end. Like I liked the way it, like when Gwen shows up and then she's got the little gang. I'm like, okay, well, where were those guys during the the movie could have used those guys in the, like, don't just like stick them at the end. But it's like, you know.
And I like Miles seeing his like was it Dark Mirror, like his like the evil version of him.
Right. Yeah.
It's gonna be good.
Maybe you'll go see that by yourself, and then you could tell me about it. But yeah, again, we'll see when the time comes. I like going to the movies, so maybe I'll go anyway. But as of now, I don't feel like it. If there's something halfway decent out that same week, I'll probably go see the other thing. Yeah, I'm Tom Scioli, author of Jack Kirby, The Epic Life of the King of Comics, and I Am Stan, a graphic biography of the legendary Stan Lee, which is available for pre-order by following the pre-order link in the show notes below.
I'm Matt Zeoli.
Please like, follow, and subscribe to the Total Recall Show, and follow me on Twitter at Tom Scioli, on Instagram at Tom_Scioli, and support my Patreon. Go to patreon.com, search Tom Scioli.
Follow the show on Instagram at total_recall_show, and listen to my album in the show notes below.